dear listeners. Welcome to another edition of Everyday Dynamic Solution Past Year Question. So today we are going to look at May-June 2022 Past Year Question. Alright, and we are going to start with paper 1 theory. Are you ready? Alright, if you are ready, I'm ready. Let's get started. So you are to answer all questions. That's the instruction. Use a black or dark blue pen. Question number 1 says, out of these, you should what? Circle 2 input devices. So input device is a keyboard. We circle it. Digital camera is also a keyboard. It is circled. Do we understand? Those are what? Those are input device. The rest are not what? They are not input device. So question number 2 says, a computer controlled glass house is used to grow plants. Identify 2 output devices used in this glass house. And one of the output device is a sprinkler. A sprinkler is used in a what? Where we grow plants. Also, we have lamp. All right. Other output device that can be used include heater, E-A-T, H-E-A-T-E-R, rather, H-E-A-T-E-R, heater. It's also what? An output device. Then we have vents, window openers, or motor. All those are what? They are output device. Do we understand? All right, so let's go to question number 3. Question number 3 says, network devices are used in computer systems. Network what? Devices are used in computer systems. Complete each sentence by identifying the most appropriate network device. A. The network device that is used to transmit the data along an analog telephone is a dash. What is the network device that is used to transmit the data along an analog telephone? Said what? Yes, that's correct. It is called modem. It's called what? Modem. That's for A. B says the network device that connects a LAN to a WAN is a what? What connects a LAN to a WAN? He said, correct, the router. We've done it in our previous questions that we've answered, where we were asked to discuss the similarities and differences between a what? A LAN, a router and a bridge. Yes, that was 2023 October-November question. All right. So see now, the network device that allows data to be directed to a specific computer on a LAN is a what? Correct, is a switch. Is a what? A switch. That's the answer. Then we go to number 3D. The internal network device. The internal network device that allows a computer to connect to a LAN is a what? Is a network interface card, or we call it NIC. Network what? Network interface card, or we call it what? NIC as an acronym. NIC, that is network interface card. That's the question to answer to what? 3D. Are we following? All right. Number 4. Many word processing packages have a number of formatting features. The paragraph below shows some of the formatting features that can be used. The North Shore Steam Railway (NSR) today approved the event program for the Summer Steam Festival (SSF) in brackets 2022 to be held between June and August in Norton, which will see 5 new steam engines join the existing 28 steam trains they have in stock. A special attraction for the festival will be the Teal Steam Crane. A. Write down 4 of the formatting fixtures that can be used in the paragraph shown. That is, this paragraph that we have, what are 4 formatting fixtures that can be used on it? All right, I'm listening. You know formatting fixtures, right? Yes. So here, you see this one, it appears more blackish, just like this one. So that means it was bold. So number 1, we said bold is a formatting fixture that has been used on this paragraph. Do we understand? Good. We have bold. 2, we have full justification. Can you see everything lines where they finished here? That is justification. So we have full justification. All right. So what other formatting fixtures have been used in this paragraph? Look at it very well. Yes, 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 yes. I'm expecting your answer. Highlights. If you see this 5, it is highlighted here. Highlights. The 5 there was what? It was highlighted. So we can put highlights. All right. What other one? Look at the paragraph very well. Yes, this not on here is underlined. So that means one of the formatting fixture is what? Underlined. Underlined. All you need to do is to look at the paragraph and look at what exactly they've done with the paragraph. That's 4 that we have to do. But there is one other one there. Who can guess? Yes, italics. One of these words has been italic, which is the North Shore Steam Railway. It is written in what? In italics. All right, let's move to question number 4B now. 4B says the logo for the Summer Steam Festival is shown and labeled A. This is A. The organizers of the event are planning to create a second logo for all their correspondents. This is shown and labeled B. This. Describe the steps that have been used to transform logo A into logo B. So how has this been transformed to this? That is all you are told to do. So the first thing is to what? Click on the shape A or the logo A, anyone you decide to write. That's the first thing you do. Then you do what? Slide the corners. Slide the what? Slide the corners in. Slide the corners in to what? To reduce the size of the shape. The size of the shape or logo. Yes. What else has been done for them to get B from A? That is all what the question asks us to do. Yes, 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 yes. Think. You can tell me what else we can do? Yes, correct. Keep the aspect. Keep what? The aspect. Keep the aspect ratio. Yes, what else can we do? Fill in the what? Fill in the shape. Fill the shape or fill in the shape. Fill the shape with black color. All right. So you are told to right steps. But if you check the answer here, you see that all the answers you have is, the mark is 4. So we can stop at this 4, but there are still other steps that can be followed in order to what? To get logo B from that logo A that was created. Another thing is highlight the text. Reduce the size of the text. Change the color of the text to white. Click on the image or train. Reduce the height and width. Reduce the size of the image or train. All those are still what you can put in 4B. Let's go to number 5. A library is considering the way it issues books. The librarians are planning to use RFID rather than barcodes. Remember, we discussed RFID and barcodes in our previous classes, right? In the previous solutions that we've made. All right. So you are told to describe the advantages of using RFID rather than what? Rather than barcodes. So at least you must have 4 here, because your answer, your what? You are going to get 5 marks. So at least let's have 4. RFID. RFID are what? Are faster. Thank you. You can still remember. Are faster to read than barcode. RFID are faster to read than what? Than barcodes. That is 1. 2. RFID allows greater what? Allows greater security. RFID allows what? Allows what? Greater security. RFID does not need line of sight to read. RFID does not what? Does not need line of sight to read. Why barcode does? Barcodes, they do require what? Line of sight to read what? To read. But barcodes do need them, while RFID does not need them. So another one is RFID also what? Can store more data than a barcode. Can what? Can store more data than what? Than a barcode. All right, so these are 4 advantages of what? Of RFID over what? Over barcodes. Said RFID are faster to read than barcodes. RFID allows greater security. RFID does not need line of sight to read, while barcodes do. RFID can store what? Can store more than a barcode. Others include RFID can scan multiple items at the same time, while a barcode cannot do that. RFID tags can be rewritten, that is, you can write them again. So that means they can be reused, but a barcode cannot be what? Reused. RFID tags are more robust, as barcodes will not scan if what? If damaged. All those are what? Are what you can put down as your what? As your answers. Number 6. Laptop computers use solid-state drives, SSD, rather than hard disk drives, HDD. Describe 2 disadvantages of using an SSD rather than what? Rather than an HDD in a laptop computer. So what do you think are the advantages of SSD to HDD? Number one, yes, they tend to have more limited number of reads and writes. They what? They tend to have more what? More limited number of what? Of reads and writes. They what? They tend to have more limited number of what? Of read and write. That's one disadvantage of SSD over rather than what? Than HDD. That's one what? One disadvantage. That is, it has limited number of read and write, unlike an what? An HDD. Number two, SSD are what? They are more expensive per gigabyte. More expensive, more expensive per what? Per gigabyte than HDD. So that means to buy them, they are more costly, expensive than what? Than HDD. That's the answer to that. All right. So let's go to number 7. A patient has an injury and the doctor treating him needs to find out information about the patient. Most of the data he needs to collect is personal data. The data collected is protected by data protection legislation. Most data protection acts include the principle that data should be kept confidential and secure. A. List 4 other principles of a typical data protection act. List what? 4 other principles of a typical data protection act. So 1, you have what? Data should not be kept longer than necessary. Data should not be kept longer than necessary. That is, you should not keep people's data unnecessarily. So you don't keep data longer than what? Longer than it is necessary for you to have them. That's 1. 2, yes, what other data protection acts we have? Data should be adequate, relevant, and not excessive. Data should be what? Data should be relevant. Data should be relevant and not what? And not excessive. That is, you don't ask for things that you don't need from a what? From a patient. You only ask what is relevant to what you want to attend to, so that you don't ask unnecessary questions. Also, data should be collected for specific purposes. data should be collected for specific what? Purpose. Should have a specific purpose or a reason why you are what? Why you are collecting data. Then number 4, which is last but not the least, is what? Yes, you said what? Yes, data should be accurate and kept up to date. Data should be what? Data should be accurate and up to date. Data should be what? Should be accurate and up to date. Others include data should be processed for the stated what? Stated purpose. Data should be processed for the stated what? For the stated purpose. Data should be fairly and lawfully processed. Data should be what? Should be fairly and lawfully processed. Also, data should not be transferred to another country unless they have adequate protection. Data should not be what? Should not be transferred to another country except they have what? Adequate protection. And let me give you one more. Data should be processed in accordance with the data subject's rights. All right, let's stop at that and go to question number 7B. It says, explain what is meant by personal data. Include 2 examples of personal data in your answer. So what is the explanation of personal data? Yes, personal data is what? Is data relating to what? Relating to an individual. Relating to an individual or person. An individual or person that can be what? That can be identified. So when you have a data that is relating to an individual or person that you can identify, then we said it is what? Is a personal data. Is a what? Personal data. So example of personal data includes what? Your name? Yes. Your name. Like if I say Ahmed, or if I say Juan, or On, or Min Son, all those are what? They are personal data. Name. Your name is your personal data. What else? Your date of birth is your personal data. Date of birth is your what? Is your personal data, because we all have different what? Different dates of birth. Your house address is also what? Part of your personal data. What else can be your personal data? We are told to give 2 examples, right? So we already have 2. Your gender, either you're a male or female. Your biometrics, maybe your fingerprint. Your mobile cell phone number, your credit or debit card number, your personal ID number, your personal appearance, medical record, criminal record, ethnic origin, picture of yourself, political opinions, religious or philosophical beliefs, trade union membership record, genetic data, IP address, racial identity. All these are what? They are your personal data. Do we understand? All right. So moving on now. Let's go to question number 7C. 7C says, explain why personal data should be kept confidential. Explain what? Why personal data should be kept confidential and secure. So why should we keep personal data confidential and secure? Yes, one, the person can be identified from the what? From the data. The person can be what? Can be identified from what? From the data. Like if I tell you my name now and it is written somewhere and all other records are written under it, then you'll be able to trace it to me. But if you don't know my name and you just see a particular record somewhere, you might not really know who owns it because my personal data are not what? Is not included. So that is what we mean by why should we keep or explain why we should keep confidential data what? Private. Two, protects what? Protects sensitive data. Protects sensitive. All our personal data are what? They are sensitive data. Maybe your age, your date of birth, your ethnic tribe, all these words, they are sensitive. So they should be what? They should be kept confidential. The data is confidential as it links directly to the person. See, I'm just talking about confidential now. The data is what? The data is confidential The data is confidential as it links directly to the person. For example, if someone has HIV/AIDS now, people don't want their status to be revealed outside. So they talk to doctors in confidentiality. But if such record is exposed to the general public, people might stigmatize against such an individual. So that's why personal records are very what? They must be kept secure from unwanted access. Number four, if someone gets access to the data, then they can use the information to attack the person. If what? If someone, if someone if someone gets access to the data, then they can use the information to what? To attack the person. That's why personal data should what? Should be kept confidential and secure. All right. Others include what? If not kept confidential and secure, it could lead to chance of users suffering what? Physical harm. Also, if not kept confidential and secure, it could lead to what? Home burglaries as people post holiday details on social media. See, some people they will travel to another country and they will be posting, enjoying myself in California or enjoying myself in Dubai. Then people can go to their house and burgle their house since they know such a person is not around. Question number 8 now. Uniform resource locators URL are used to locate websites and resources. A teacher needs to find a teaching guide from Cambridge Assessment International Education. To download the teaching guide, she types in HTTPS, she types this, okay? So question 8A now says, write down only the part of the URL which shows the file name of the teaching guide. The part of the what? Of the URL. That means this URL. Which part of this URL now shows the what? The file name of the teaching guide. So it's from here. This 2193. So you just write it 2193.733.pdf. That's the name of the file. So that's our answer to what? 8A. Then the question 8B says, write down only the part of the URL, which is the folder where the teaching guide is stored. So how do you get where the teaching guide is stored here? It is what precedes the file name. This is the file name. So that means here it is where it is stored. IGCSE ICT 0417. That is where it is stored. All right. Do we get it? Okay. So now question 6 says, write down only the part of the URL, which is the domain name. We all understand what we call domain name, right? Domain name is the website name. So which one is the website name here? Yes, www.cambridgeinternational.org. That's the what? That's the domain name. Cambridgeinternational.org. That's what? That is the domain name. Then question number 8D says, explain what is meant by HTTPS. When you see HTTPS like this in front of any website, it means that the website is what? Is a secure internet protocol. Is a what? Secure internet protocol. You see, when you are browsing at times, you see some HTTP, they will not have S at the end. That means those ones are not what? They are not secured. So you should look out for the S in front of them, and that makes them what? Secured. Do we understand? All right, so that's for dish. All right, so we move to question number 9. Question number 9 says, a student is creating a spreadsheet of airports for a project. So you have code, you have name, you have country, you have airport name. All right. So what are we told to do? The formula G2 is equal to this. So now we are to explain in detail what the formula in G2 does. That is what this formula VLOOKUP open bracket F2 A2 double colon B9 comma 2 comma 0. What does it do? That is what A asks us to explain. So the simple explanation is looks up for F2. You see you have F2 there. So it's telling you to what? To look up. Looks up for F2. That means there is a particular, spreadsheets are in rows and column. So it's asking you to look for what? Look up F2. That is what the data is telling you. Look up F2. And F2 is the what? Is the airport name. F2 is the what? The airport name. We can see it up here. Right? F2 is the airport name. Can you see F? Then this is 2, F2. That is airport name. Then we also have what? A2. A2 is what? This is A2. Look up what? Look up in the range. Look what? Looks up in the range. A2. A2. Double colon. B9. B9. That means you are to look up in the range of A2 to B9. And A2 to B9 is what? This is A2 and this is B9. Okay, B9. So it's telling us what? Code and name. Code and what? Code and name. Do we understand now? Yes, so that is how you look at it, one after the what? One after the other. That's the explanation. All right. So the mark is 4. So I'm going to give you 4 before we move on to the what? To the next question. All right. So let's look up one more. Displays the value in G2. Displays the value in what? In G2. You see? And finds what? Finds the exact match. Finds the what? The exact match. Do we understand? Do we understand? So let's go to question 9b. Question 9b says, before the spreadsheet can be used, data needs to be entered to the spreadsheet. There are 3 types of test data, which is normal, abnormal, and extreme. Explain what is meant by these 3 types of what? Of test data. That is, you have to explain what is meant by normal, abnormal, and extreme. Let's start from normal. Normal data. What is normal data? Data that is what? That is within the boundary of acceptability. Data that is within the what? Within the boundary of acceptability. That is what we call normal. Within the boundary of acceptability. That is one. That is normal data. That is data that you can accept. They are what we call what? Normal data. That is, when you see the data, ordinarily, they are within what you can accept. You look at them and look at them as what? Acceptable. When we say normal, abnormal now, It is just the opposite of normal. So that will give us what? Data that is outside what? The boundary of acceptability. That is, their data you look and you still ask twice, like, are this real? That is the data we know as what? Abnormal data. Then the third one is what? Extreme data. When we say data is extreme, it means that what? It is on the edge of acceptability. Data that is what? That is on the edge of what? Of acceptability. Data on the edge of acceptability. And that's the meaning of what? Extreme data. Are we clear? All right. So let's move on to question number 9C. 9C says, explain using examples the differences between a function and a what? And a formula. The difference between a function and a formula. Now, when we say formula, a formula is a statement written by the user. A formula is a what? Is a statement written by the user. That is, for example, when you want to get the sum in a spreadsheet, you say A1 plus B1. You can write it as sum, open bracket, A2, semicolon B2. That's a what? That's a formula. But a function is a named piece of code designed to calculate specific values. Do we understand? So let's write. A formula like I said, is what? A formula is a statement written by the user. While a function is a named piece of what? Piece of code designed to calculate specific values. So, when we say formula, is a statement written by the user. That is, you determine what formula you want to use yourself. But when you say function now, there are specific functions for some things that you can't change it. It's not by your changing, but it has been written there. The what? Is a universal acceptable function that an individual cannot change. All right. Another difference between what? Formula and function is that a formula can contain functions. A formula can contain what? Functions. And not the other way around. That means a function cannot contain a formula, but a formula can contain function. That's what I mean by and not the other way round. All right. So let's give an example of a formula and an example of what? Of a function. Example of a formula. You have, this is an example of a formula. You have A1 plus B1, comma, equal to sum, open brackets, A2 and B2. Then we close the bracket. This is an example of what? Of formula. This is an example of what? Formula. Then let's write an example of a what? An example of a function. Functional. An example of a what? Functional. Do we get it? So example of function will be sum over average. Sum over average. This is an example of a what? Example of a what? Of a function. D. The completed file could have been created using database. Describe 2 reasons why databases are used in certain applications rather than spreadsheets. Describe 2 reasons why databases are used in certain applications rather than what? Rather than spreadsheets. 1. A database can use queries. A database can use what? Can use queries. Database can use queries. A database also database can use relationship. All right, can use relationship. Others include A database has what? They have better security. Database has what? Has better securities. A database can reduce data duplication. It can reduce what? Data duplication. All right. Also, a database. A database is easier to create form. It is also easier to create reports using what? Using database. All right. Question number 10 now. The prolonged use of computers can cause severe what? Health problems, particularly when sitting down and using monitors. Discuss the strategies that you have deployed to minimize health risks, which only relates to sitting down and using a what? Using a monitor. So we are to list how many marks do we have there? 8 marks. So you are to list 8 strategies that you can use to minimize what? Health risk, which are only related to what? Sitting down and using a monitor. All right. 1. Using a flat screen monitor can reduce what? Eye strain and headache. Using what? Using a flat screen monitor. Using a flat screen monitor can reduce eye strain and headache. Yes. 2. Set night lights on the computer to prevent eye strain. Set what? Set night lights on the computer to prevent eye strain. Also, use a matte screen to prevent glare or headaches. Use a what? A matte screen to prevent glare and headaches. Also, have your eyesight tested regularly. Have what? Have your eyesight tested regularly. Yes, that takes us to how many now? We have 1, 2, 4. We still have 4 to go. Sit at arm length from the screen to prevent eye strain. Sit at arm length from the screen to prevent eye strain. That's number 5. Turn the monitor. Turn the monitor to the layout of the room. Turn the monitor. Turn the monitor to align with the what? With the layout of the room. That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 2 to go. Use a footrest to reduce DVT or to improve your posture. Use what? Use a footrest to reduce DVT or to improve your posture. Then number 8, which is the last one. Sit with correct posture to help reduce back and neck pain. Sit with correct posture to what? To help reduce back and neck pain. All right? So, these are what? These are 9 strategies that can be used to prevent what? To prevent back and eye problem while making use of the what? Of the monitor. So writing this, you get your what? You get your 8 marks. All right, let's go to the next question, which is question 11. Question 11 says, a car manufacturing company uses computer control robots to manufacture its cars. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages to the company of using computer control robots rather than using humans to manufacture the what? The cars. Now let's start with advantages. Number 1 advantage of using what? Computer to human is what? Computer are cheaper in the long run. Cheaper in the long run. That is, to pay human can be expensive, but when you use computer control robots, they are what? They are cheaper in the long run. Robots can work 24/7. They don't get tired. Robots can work 24 hours per 7 days. That's what we mean by 24/7. Can continue to work. 3, we have higher productivity. Higher what? Productivity. We have higher productivity. Then, number 4, we have more accurate and precise engineering. More accurate / precise engineering, because they are not prone to error like human beings. So that's why we have more accurate, precise engineering. Production of the cars is more consistent. Production of the cars is what? Is more consistent. Then let's have one more. Fewer workers are needed, therefore lowering costs. Fewer workers are what? Are needed, thereby lowering costs. Alright, so see, these are some of the advantages of what? Of using computer controlled robots over using humans. Do we understand? Alright, so let's quickly look at the disadvantages now. The what? The disadvantages. I'm only going to give you 3 disadvantages. Alright? So you can have 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages. And I've already given you 6 advantages. So I'm going to give you 3 more disadvantages. 1, expensive to buy robots. Expensive to what? To buy robots. See, robots can be very, very what? Expensive. 2, maintenance is expensive. Maintenance is expensive. Also, they require backup systems, which are expensive. They what? They require backup system, which are expensive. All right. So these are what? These are the disadvantages of what? Of using a robot. These are the disadvantages of using a what? A robot. Let's cite it here. Disadvantage. All right. So let's go to the next question. Question number 12 now. 12 says, different methods can be used to analyze a system. Discuss the benefits and drawbacks of analyzing a system by observing staff rather than looking at the current system documentation. All right. So we want to look at the benefits and drawback. Those are the advantages and disadvantages. Let's start with the advantages. Advantages of what? Observation. One, the analyst sees it with their own eyes. The analyst, that is, they are not looking at the record, they are looking at the workers. So they see it with their what? with their own eyes. The analyst sees it with their own eyes. 2, get a complete picture of the whole system. 3, cheaper. That is, observation is cheaper as it does not take the worker away from the work. Cheaper as it does not take the what? Take the worker away from work. All right. So now let's now look at examining what? Examining documents. That is the advantages of what? Examining documents and not just observing the what? Observing workers. Because that's the tool that we are told to analyze the advantages of and disadvantage of the tool. Or let's call this drawbacks. Drawbacks of what? Of documentation. That is, instead of observing, we want to document now. Instead of observing. Documents. Examining documents. 1, can see exact details of inputs, processing and outputs. Can see what? Exact details of inputs, processing and outputs. That is, instead of seeing the work themselves, they only see what? They only see inputs, because the analyst is trying to what? Study what? Documents that have been prepared and not the workers themselves. 2, very expensive to pay for an analyst to look through all the documents. Very what? Very expensive to pay for an analyst to look through all the documents. Then 3, allows the analyst to predict the size of the new system. Allows the analyst to predict the size of the new system. by analyzing the amount of data. All right. So this is that's that on that. All right. Let's move on. Question number 13 now. In a college department, is entering data into a student's borrower's file. As the data is entered, it needs to be verified. A. Describe the two types of verification. So what are the types of verification that we have? Yes, that's correct. One, we have visual verification. So we type it here. Visual what? Verification. Visual verification. And what is visual verification? A person enters data. It is read through and corrected as needed using the original copy. That is, that same data that is entered is read through and corrected as needed using the what? Using the original copy. While the second type is what? Double data entry. Just like the name, double data. What this one implies is that a person types the data, then retypes the data from the what? From the original source. Or a person can type it while another person will what? Will type the data from the what? From the original source. So let's go to question 13b. Here we are told to explain using examples why it is necessary to carry out validation as well as verification for this system. Explain using examples why it is necessary to what? To carry out verification and what? And validation. One, not all errors are found by validation. Not all errors are found by validation and verification separately. Okay? It's not all errors that are found by validation and verification separately. Two, source documents may contain errors. Source documents, that is the original document, may what? May contain error. Okay? The source documents may contain what? Errors. And thirdly, validation checks are carried out automatically by the computer. Validation check are carried out automatically by the what? By the computer. Then we are told to explain using what? Using examples. So we are going to give some examples now. After we've listed three, why validation and verification what? Are necessary, we are going to give examples now. Examples: correct example of a verification check. That's an example. So, correct appropriate what? Explanation of an example of a what? Of a validation check. Alright, so these are what? These are examples. Now let's go to the next question, which is question number 14. It says spam is associated with ICT systems. Explain what is meant by the term spam. What do we mean by what is spam? Spam is junk mail. Spam is what? Is junk mail. Spam is junk mail. Or you can say spam is what? Unwanted or unsolicited emails. Spam is junk mail or unwanted slash unsolicited emails. So those are what? That's what we refer to as spam. You can also call it a message that is used for what? That is used for advertising or used for pitching or spreading of what? Malwares. All those are what? Are definition of what? Of spams. Question 14b now says, describe the ways that a user can recognize spam and methods to help prevent it. Let's first talk about ways. Ways now. Ways by which you can recognize spam. 1. Asking to click on a link. Asking to click on a what? On a link. That's one way of knowing that a message is a spam. Stored in a spam folder. Stored in a spam folder. You know we have spam folder in our Gmail, right? Good. Stored in a spam folder. Number 3, does not ask for you by name. Does not ask for you by what? By name. Then 4, multiple spelling or grammatical errors. Multiple spelling / grammatical errors. All these are what? A pointer to make you know that a message is a what? Is a spam. So how can we prevent it now? Prevention. How can we prevent it? 1, use a spam filter. Use a what? Use a spam filter. 2, not replying to spam emails. Not replying to spam emails. 3, do not give email address. Do not give email address out unnecessarily. Then let's add one more to make it 4 also. Not filling your details on online form. Not filling your details on what? On online form, except when necessary. All right? So these are the ways by which you can recognize a spam and ways of what? Ways of preventing it. All right? Then let's move on to question number 15. Question number 15 says, explain what is meant by cloud storage and how it is used. Explain what is meant by what? By cloud storage and how it is what? How it is used. So the question asks us to explain what is meant by cloud storage and how it is what? How it is used. So cloud storage now. Cloud storage involves storing data in a remote physical location. That is, you store it online. It involves what? Involves storing data in a remote physical location. Or online storage platform. Online storage platform. All right. So this is the definition of cloud storage. Then let's look at how it is used now. How what? How it is used. One, user access what? User accesses the cloud storage using the internet. That means without the internet, you cannot access the what? You cannot access a cloud storage. Cloud data can be accessed from any device. Cloud data can be accessed from any device. Also, data can be shared with other users. Data can be shared with other users. Let's give one more. Users pay a monthly/annual fee for storage used. Users pay a monthly/annual fee for what? For storage used. All right, let's go to question 15B. Question 15B says, describe two issues related to the security of data in the cloud. Describe what? Two issues related with the security of data in the what? In the cloud. One is, it is easier to hack. It is easier to hack data as it is what? It is always unavailable. That is, it is available online, so anybody can just what? Can just go there and retrieve it. It is easier to hack data as it is what? Always available online. Two, lost control of your data. If it is hacked, then you lose control what? Of your data. You lose control of your data. You lose control of your what? Of your data. Others include what? more difficult to delete all copies of the what? Of the data. That is, since you store them online, it is more difficult to what? To delete the files. Alright? Alright, let's go to the next question, which is question number 16. It says a company uses corporate housing style within the headers and footers in its documents. Explain what is meant by what? What is meant by corporate housing style? You know what we mean by header, right? And a footer. So what do we mean by a corporate housing style is what you are told to explain. Corporate housing style is a what? Is a set of rules. It is a what? It is a set of rules that states that states I said it is a set of rules. It is a what? A set of rules It is a set of rules that states how all documents, how all what? How all documents and what? And written communication should be formatted. That means corporate house style is a what? Is a set of rules that states how all documents and written communication should be what? Should be formatted. That's what we mean by what? By corporate house style. Do we understand now? Do we understand it? All right. So let's go to question 16b. 16b says, explain why headers and footers are what? Are needed. Explain why headers and footers are what? Are needed. So why are headers and footers, why are they what? Why are they needed? One, to display what? Descriptive information on each page. to describe descriptive information on each page. That is, as we are scrolling up and down this question number, you can see the numbers, the numbering of the pages there. That's an example of a what? Of an header and footer. Do you understand? All right. So that's one. We have 2 marks, so let's state 2. Used for repeatable item. Used for what? Used for repeatable items. It is used for repeatable items. Others are helps the user to navigate through the document. Helps the what? The user to navigate through the what? The document. Also, it saves times. It saves what? Time, rather than writing the same thing on each page. It saves you the time of writing the same thing on what? On each page. Do we understand? All right. This brings us to the end of today's first question, IGCSE from the stables of Edubbey Dynamic Solutions Limited. If you are enjoying this or you've enjoyed our previous sections, do well to like, comment, and share to your friends so that they can also benefit from this solution that we've provided for you. We also have difficulty in understanding any parts of the video, or you have a question to ask, you can drop it at the comment section on this page, and we do well to attend to your questions. Do have a lovely day. Bye.